Hey One Tree Hill fans, thanks for being here. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, that would be fabulous. But either way, I'm glad you're here. We're talking about season 3, episode 13, The Wind That Blew My Heart Away. Let's get into it. I love rain in general, but rain in One Tree Hill is definitely good for my daily heart. Brooke's reading Lucas's letter while he's trying to save whatever's on fire in the oven that she cooked, and, well, she doesn't look happy as the thunder rumbles. And Peyton walks in on Ellie crying and packed up, ready to go, saying it's time. I never really knew how to feel about the whole Rachel and Minka, not Minka's, I'm also doing one Boy Meets World, so it's like a trip to see Lee Norris grown ups. I'm thinking Minkus. Oh my god. Okay. Mouse. Hey, they both start with him. But I never really knew what to think about their friendship. I mean, it's definitely good for her, but I kind of felt like it might have been more of a... I mean, it was fine for him too, but I don't know. The jury's still out. But I do think it's kind of weird. He was like trying to get a selfie, but not with her knowing. And then she's like, okay, cool, let's get a good one. I mean, she was cool about it, but it was kind of like, what are you doing? Oh my God. Keith is like, you told Lucas to stay at Brooks even over the night? Nothing. You're every teenage boy's dream, Mom. But he's smooth, man. He just segues right into kissing her. It's like, okay, Keith, I see you. Okay, that whole opening scene between Nathan and Haley is great. I can't believe you. She's like happy and then mad. And then he's like, Haley, you can't go to Duke because I'm going to Stanford, and the lights go out. Good sign or bad? That is a legit question. Oh my God. Okay, Mouth, you went for it. You tried to kiss Rachel. And then he's like, you turned out the lights. It's a blackout, Mouth. And Brooke, where is my Powerpuff Girls nightlight when I need it? Another great line. I just feel like Lucas saying, let's call Peyton, I'm worried about her, probably wasn't the best move. Hence why Brooke is pissed. Creepy stalker Dan activate. The entire town's dark. Perfect. I love all the off-brand food at Nathan's house. Kind of funny, huh? I just like, he's like, yeah, it's just you, me, and the darkness hills. It sounds kind of nice. Don't it, though? Oh, Dan, seriously, what don't you do? You creep everywhere, you show up everywhere, you have videos everywhere, and now you're breaking in through windows. Cool. Oh, yes, Rachel. Please, let's encourage guys being assholes to girls. No. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So what's upsetting Brooke is that something in the letter that Lucas wrote to her is something that he actually wrote previously in another letter to Peyton a year ago. Yikes. Oh, Brooke. See, when you go running out into a storm and then scream at a boy, it's probably time to just start rethinking things, because this is foreshadowing. I wish they had never gotten back together. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of Lucas and Brooke fans out there, and hey, to each their own, but it pains me to see them together when I know what's coming. Ellie's story was pretty great, I must say. Okay, Nathan, 100 million points for you. All of the memories of the way Haley wore her hair at this time and wore these shoes at this time. It's like, okay, you got me a little misty in the eye there, bro. And I just gotta say, the song mentions on this episode are legit. Okay, and we go to memories with Keith and Karen. How feels was that? I love that he admitted that he stayed up all the night before thinking about what he would say to her on the day that she opened the cafe, hence why he remembered it. Dan stealing crap from Keith. That key, I forget what it's to. And it's hard to imagine Dan and Keith were close at any time. Damn, Luke is coming through with all the reasons. It's like, are you just this slick or do you really mean it? And it's just killing me because it's like, look, I know you love her. But man, it's just hard. Like I said, foreshadowing, man, I can't. It's hard to be happy about this because it's just, I know what's coming. A lot of good speeches. Mouth gave one too. Keeping it real, staying true. Gentlemen, take note. Ooh, Ellie and Peyton's moment really kind of got me in the feels there. And you know what? Peyton, Ellie is right. Live, girl. Quit hiding in your sadness and art. She really needed to hear that. Oh, the moment in the rain. Another rain Naley moment. I swear. He's like, kept all the memorabilia from her tour and all the articles. And he's like, wait, it's getting messed up in the rain. No, you don't need it because you've got me. Their whole talk is just feels, y'all. Feels. I'm just so glad to see them talking and being happy again. I do want to know, is that real rain or is that like production rain? Was it cold? I bet it was cold because Brooke looked cold in that rain. And this rain is crazy when they're on the car. Like, what? Everybody's having fun in the rain. Okay, so like on one hand, I'm like, oh my God, Mouth has such a good heart. That's so nice. But then I'm like, or is he flipping that script on her? Like, I think it's like a little bit of column A and B. Like, he's playing her game, but his way. Okay, does anybody else think that Keith was just laid out? Like, he's just eating that freaking pie. He's like, ooh, it's not tomorrow's dessert anymore. He is so like cool hand Luke up in here. Right. Keith, the key that Dan stole from Keith is a safety deposit box, but I don't remember what's in it. Okay, that moment with Ellie and Peyton, okay, that got me. When she started brushing Peyton's hair and she got emotional and then she called her my daughter. That was very sweet. Okay, Nathan, just stop with the perfection. Okay, you're like, you think I need to open my eyes to know when you're worried about something? Boy, stop. Does that shit exist? Like, shut your beautiful mouth, sir. Aw, she's like, I think I should go home. Why would you do that? Because I don't want to wake up and you not be here. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. Naley forever. Aw, Ellie's goodbye. Another heartbreak. I love that Nathan like went and found all the wet newspaper pieces and is hanging them up. Although I'm not sure how legit that would be because usually when newspaper gets wet, it kind of disintegrates. I do like Mal's response. Look, girls are always trying to kiss me. Mostly models, but sometimes cheerleaders. And Rachel's still trying to get him to be one of those asshole guys. And Brooke sees it and they eye each other. And she's like, ha, okay, bye. Oh my God, I forgot that this episode kind of ended with Ellie passing away. Oh my God, so sad. I do like that Brooke was there for Peyton and she was like, come on, Lucas. But it's like, why are we doing this in school? You shouldn't even be in school today. Okay, I totally forgot that Keith had the ledger. And so, of course, now Dan has it back, unbeknownst to Keith, because that's what was in the safety deposit box. Okay, say hi to my mom. Mom, that got me, y'all. Ooh, this episode was a roller coaster of emotions. So now on to the podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. So we're talking about drama queens, and we are talking about the fabulous episode 13 podcast. But first, we're going to talk real quick about my thoughts on the Q&A part 9. I didn't realize they had done so many. Giving yourself what you need and listening to yourself is kind of my motto. So I totally love that they said that because balance is certainly key in life and friendships and job and work and just mental sanity. Going back to college parties is such a funny thought, but you know what? It's so cool that they could do that. And Sophia getting asked out by a college guy was really funny. Props to you, lady. Let's see. Speaking as a person that did watch Beverly Hills 90210, like, I know I'm dating myself when I say this, but I did watch it when it was on TV. So I have to say the Brenda and Dylan comparison to Lucas and Peyton, I'm not seeing it because, I mean, honestly, Dylan and Brenda really were not a healthy relationship, in my opinion. And while Lucas and Peyton weren't really healthy at first, they were eventually. I love you for that. I don't honestly remember those certain phrases. I do find it cool how they always tend to make the technical aspects of the show pretty interesting to hear the stories, I think, on the podcast. You know, Bevan and Skills having the same names is kind of funny. Maybe it is laziness, but honestly, it works, you know? Finding the fun in failure. Yes, that's kind of a good advice. It's just hard to do. It's one of those mental exercises, I think. You really have to look for the good sometimes. And yes, the key gremlins are a very real thing, amongst other things. I feel like they moved up from socks. They're moving up to everything else. And Lucky Joy with her skin routine. I wish I had one that easy. So, talking about episode 13, you know, first off, the live shows they're going to do for the podcast sound really fun, but I'm kind of surprised they're not going to go to Wilmington. So, you know, and I thought they hated the rain episodes, but it's funny. And then they said they kind of did hate the rain episodes. So it's funny to hear them say they loved it. But this episode was really good. And I agree, Joy. Yes, I love this episode too. And oh my God, I can't even imagine having to stay wet and cold in my clothes for hours and working, like, and acting. Like, that just sounds awful, doesn't it? You know, it just sounded like this episode was really almost painful to record. So I say bravo to them for doing such an awesome job because they really sold it. And yes, the newspaper clippings from Nathan are just the absolute best. I think it's so cute. It is dating the show, but it's still so cute. And Nathan and his memories of Haley, and just, they really put me all in my feels. And Nathan, you know, these might have been kind of out of character jock moments for him, but I love those moments. So I really enjoyed it because I think it kind of, you know, once again showed that his character was progressing a lot. And James and Joy really did create magic on the screen. So it's really cool that they could, because chemistry is a real thing and it doesn't have to be just romantic, but you know, when two people just have that chemistry, they can sell it, and they did. And it's just funny that she was just married at that time, so she was trying to create those boundaries. I can't imagine how awkward that would be. Acting is a weird job, so the boundaries in real life versus the screen would be probably insane. I personally loved, as I mentioned, Maltha's speech to Rachel, because so many of the things she was saying were just gross. So I really liked it. Kind of agree with Hillary's kissing thing. You know, if you're into it, why not? Kiss all the boys, right? Kiss all the girls, whatever. I don't know though. It's you have to go with what you feel, I think. And consent and communication, yes. Mouth and Rachel were able to communicate in a very elevated sort of way, which is nice. And nobody was upset, you know? So it was like, oh, okay, whatever, no biggie. But it's so funny because most teenagers don't act that way. Let's be honest. Everything gets very personal. And it's funny because, you know, I don't think TV shows in the mainstream really kind of show that whole consent and communication thing very much. So it's kind of interesting contrast. You know, I did think it was pretty wild that Keith and Karen were just getting down in front of those big windows, and it was just like, wow, it's pretty ballsy. But it's like, I kind of wonder if maybe Hillary, because Hillary said she didn't really like it, and I'm kind of wondering if she was maybe feeling what I was kind of feeling with the whole knowledge of knowing what's going to happen with Keith coming up. So it's kind of like, you know, but, you know, it's kind of like with me and Lucas and, you know, Brooke. It's like, I just wish they hadn't gotten back together. So it kind of taints everything, because it's like we know what's going to happen. So, yeah. I also thought that the Black Ledger thing coming back was stupid, and the internet search for the lockbox, that was kind of silly, but from point A to point B, right? The Ellie and Peyton scenes were great, very emotional, and I don't recall them making me emotional the last watch through, but they did this time. And it is so true. The oldest kid really does get forgotten, especially when there's a new kid around, and it explains a lot. I mean, I feel like Hillary really provided like a therapy lesson here, and and then she's like, "Oh, by the way, listen to Beyonce, and it'll make you want to make bad choices." So funny. So, like, I get why Brooke was, like, very adamant with Lucas telling her why you want to be with me. It makes sense. And you definitely don't use the same sign off with your ex that you did your new girlfriend. Definitely a no, bad thing. And I completely understand Joy's aversion to the post office. I hate going through the post office. It is a real pain. So maybe a hunky mailman would help her out. And yeah, I really can't imagine Dan and Deb having a second kid. I think, like I said, Deb knew the toxicity level there. And I feel like Dan with a daughter would have just been really toxic as well. Very damaging to a girl's psyche, because I feel like he would have used her in some way, like a pawn or something. I don't know. Kind of like he does Nathan. It would just be very, very bad. But like they said, he already did pit Lucas and Nathan against each other. So we kind of know where that would go for sure. And yes, I love the idea of Joy crafting in her trailer. It's very whimsical, as I believe Hillary said. And I'm just going to say it. I kind of feel like Joy is a mythical. But those are my thoughts on this episode 13, The Wind That Blew My Heart Away. Such a good episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. Until next time.